Every time there is a controversy about a major film's color grading, I get curious. Not just because I'm a colorist, but also because these conversations reveal so much about how we respond to images. So what happened? Well, back in December, the official teaser trailer for the film came out, and the trailer had a pretty stylized look to it. So here's the very opening of the trailer. You'll notice that the highlights are quite warmed and the shadows are quite cooled. That's an example of some of that very stylistic split toning I was mentioning. Another example of this is if we jump into the trailer a little further, we have this shot of Superman saving this girl. Let me back this up. Do you see how kind of in the foot of this alien, the alien is probably kind of this grayish color, but we have a really strong blue push going on in here. So highlights warm, shadows cool. It's a really strong blue push, and you can see this bold split toning happening. We even have these like bricks on the wall. The bricks probably would normally be red, but we're almost getting a dull kind of purple tone from it due to some of this strong color cast. You see this as well later in the trailer with this kid here. You'll see how tinted his kind of hair is and the shadow colors are. To give you a bit more context about how this actually works, I've pulled an image. This is not from the Superman movie. This is from a film I worked on, but I can show you how split toning works when we're building the look for a film. So if you see this white line here I was on the screen, this is representing, the bottom left is like the black part of the image, and then as we progress, it goes all the way up through the white point of the image. So split toning happens when we do this to the image. We're often warming up the highlights and cooling off the shadows here. And as I kind of reduce and increase this, you'll see the effect it's having on the image there. But we could exaggerate this if we want to. Like, watch this. I can take the floor end and just not let us ever come back to neutral. And actually, I can actually increase the split toning even more to make the effect more aggressive. Do you see, here, let me show you a little before and after. Before and after. Do you see what's happening with kind of the shadow side of the images and how we're getting that tinted black point? By the way, if you're a filmmaker curious about how to use these tools in your own work, I talk about this more in my free look building guide. I'll include a link of it in the description. Another example of one of those critiques is from this shot right here. You'll notice how the skin tone is looking a little more pale and we're really getting a blue influence in some of the hair. But here's the interesting thing. When I saw the film opening weekend, I didn't remember a look quite this stylistic in the theaters, so I went to investigate. Now, doing detective work at the moment is tough because the film is only in theaters. We don't have home streaming or Blu-rays yet to pull stills from to compare with the teaser. But my thought is that we could look at two places. First, look to see if there's a more updated or recent official trailer that's been posted. And then second, what is being posted on the social accounts of the post house that did color for the film. With that information, I went and found the stills of the film posted by Company 3 around opening weekend of the film. And I also found a more recent trailer posted in May, so just a few weeks ago. Here's what I found in the comparisons. So what I did is, as I watched through the trailer, I lined up any social media stills with frames that I saw in the trailer. So if I jump forward a little bit to this place, right here, this lines up with a still I found on social media. So you ready? I'm gonna do a comparison between this and the social media post. Ready? 3, 2, 1, social media and trailer. Social media, trailer. Do you notice anything interesting about that? They are basically the exact same image. And as I did this throughout this piece, it just happened over and over. Ready for this? This is the May trailer, social media. May trailer, social media. And I just found that shot after shot, the social media frames, like once again, here we go. This is the trailer, social media, trailer, social media. The shots from the May trailer seem to line up essentially identically with the frames pulled on social media. So this tells me that either the social media stills are pulled right from the trailer, or this really is the final color for the film. But I just couldn't shake that it didn't feel right, even though this is the official trailer leading into opening weekend. So I did one final search, trying to find anything that seems to have a different grade from what we've seen previously. And that's when I stumbled across the IMAX trailer, released just before the film opened. Let's watch it and see if you notice anything different. So the trailer starts with the falling of this building, but I'm gonna jump forward to a shot that we've seen previously, kind of the invasion of Superman's headquarters. Let's compare this frame to the previous trailer. You ready? So this is the IMAX trailer. What does it look like in the May trailer? Here we go. May trailer, IMAX. May trailer, IMAX. Ooh, do you notice this? We are finally getting a difference in the grade. You'll notice that the May trailer has a much stronger, bolder look to it. The vignette is more heavy on the outside. In the IMAX trailer, it's a little more subtle, a little more nuanced. Let's jump ahead a little further and do another comparison frame. So we had this shot of Superman kind of, blocking the flames. What you're looking at is the IMAX trailer. Let's compare it to the May trailer. You ready? So this is IMAX, May. IMAX, May. Once again, we have a different grade. I'm looking at the fire in the background. This is kind of a little more, almost kind of greenish yellow going on. But as I look at the IMAX version, it's a little more orangey red. Even things like the skin tone of the May version, you get a little more of that split toning making its way into his skin. The hair's a little more blue. We look at the IMAX version, a little bit cleaner of a look. I jump ahead a little further and we see this kid again. What do you notice about his hair? It doesn't have that same kind of tinted shadow point that we saw earlier. This is something different. We can even compare this Superman saving the girl shot here. So here is the IMAX trailer, and let's jump back to the May trailer. Ready? 3, 2, 1. May, IMAX. May trailer, IMAX. Look at how much more blue is being tinted into the black point of the image. You know these bricks? This is the May trailer. The bricks in the May trailer looked almost kind of, brownish purplish. Here's with the IMAX version. You can see more of the red of them sneaking through. The IMAX trailer is a more nuanced grade. It's just not quite as aggressive as the previous trailers. I would argue most of the complaints that people had back in December are largely solved by this trailer. Now, to be fair, until we actually get the Blu-ray release, it's hard for me to verify how close this is to the actual final color, but it's a much closer representation to what I felt in the theater. It's tough to judge a film's cinematography or color by the trailers. Anyone who does creative work will tell you that art is a journey of refinement. It's a process of taking a bunch of chaotic ingredients and synthesizing them into a cohesive whole. Often, you don't actually get to finish every single item on your wish list in a project. You simply have to release it because the deadline has arrived. It's a good reminder to all of us that your worth as an artist is not all wrapped up in the final product, but who you are along the journey. If you enjoy thinking about color and color theory, check out this deep dive that I did on the TV show Severance. There is some wild stuff in there that you'll definitely enjoy. What are your thoughts on Superman? Make sure to let me know down in the comments. Also, if you don't want to miss more content like this, make sure to subscribe and like the video to let the almighty algorithm know you enjoyed it. All right, I'll see you in the next one.